my turn to tell everybody to get back in their seats?
Okay, I think we're going to get started. Hello, I'm Dr. Cece. I work for the Michigan Humane Society, and I have been talking to Martin and met Quinn over there, and I'm going to introduce them today. As part of its mission to save shelter dogs from being euthanized, Refurbished Pets of Southern Michigan came up with an idea. Place these rescued or unwanted dogs with trainers. Trainers who have the time to work with the dogs to train them for adoption into a good home. Trainers who are behind bars. The Refurbished Pets of Southern Michigan Correctional Companion Program places dogs with specially trained prison inmates, and what happens in the time these inmates spend with their dogs is powerful. Martin Daughenbaugh has seen this power in his own life. As an inmate of the state prison in Coldwater, Martin met a blind dog named Quinn. Serving his prison sentence, he says that in prison he had given up hope of having a normal life after his release. After hearing about the program, Martin became inspired and requested a transfer to Coldwater for the opportunity to work with dogs. I give you Martin and Quinn.
Thank you. Like she said, my name is Martin Daughenbaugh, and it's the common spelling if anybody's taking notes. So. And this is also my first attempt at stand-up comedy, but I was, right now I'm a volunteer and a dog trainer with Refurbished Pets of Southern Michigan. Our goal is to take unadoptable dogs and to train them and to make them more adoptable. And I brought Quinn as an example of one of the dogs who has been through the Canine Correctional Facility and the Canine Training Program, and who I adopted after my release from the Lakeland Correctional Facility in 2013. So I guess we'll start first of all by showing you a very short video about the Refurbished Pets of Southern Michigan and about the inmate training program, and then I'll demonstrate some of Quinn's commands if he's in the mood. And he was very highly trained. He was very highly trained until I had taken him home, and he's been off duty for about 3 years now. And it's kind of it's going to be rough getting back into shape, but let's show you the video. We'll do some training, and then if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Thank you.
For those of us lucky enough to have recently sent our two-legged students back to school, the Michigan Humane Society is sending some four-legged students into school, specifically the Lakeland Correctional Facility in Coldwater, Michigan. The Michigan Humane Society has partnered with Refurbished Pets in Southeast Michigan to form a program where some of our more behaviorally challenged students get to go to class by working with specially trained inmates in that facility.
RPSM is Refurbished Pets of Southern Michigan. Basically what we do is we take stray shelter dogs, otherwise homeless dogs, and get them completely vetted. We send them into a state prison where they're housed and trained by inmates. The dogs end up at the Lakeland Correctional Facility in Coldwater, Michigan. The back-to-school program is basically, we're reschooling these dogs. So we're working with Michigan Humane Society, dealing with the dogs going back to school along with the kids going back to school. We're teaching them how to walk well on a leash, and sit and stay. So when the adopters receive these dogs, they're completely trained. They're selected based on temperament and size and age. We've been doing this long enough to know that very small dogs under 10, 12 pounds do not do well in a very busy prison environment. And we've also learned that the older older senior dogs, it's too active for them. It's almost too overwhelming. But their temperament is really key.
In the upcoming weeks, we'll post updates showing our students' progress by using Webisodes on our social media. Once our students graduate from the program, they will be placed up for adoption using Refurbished Pets of Southeast Michigan. Hopefully, they'll all find their forever homes.
Animals that qualify for the training program are first sent into foster homes with Refurbished Pets of Southern Michigan, where they are prepared for training. The training lasts for approximately 10 weeks with the inmates at the Lakeland Correctional Facility.
We foster them, and then they're put into the Lakeland Correctional Prison, where they stay for 10 weeks, and they go through extensive training and socialization with an inmate.
What we're doing here today is we're doing a dog exchange. Basically what that means is dogs have graduated, they're going to their forever homes, and the ones that are going in for training were sent in exchange.
While they're in the prison program, we put them up on Pathfinder, and typically we have a home for them before they come out after their training program. It's a wonderful program, both for the dogs and the inmates.
The program is very important from an inmate standpoint because it helps refurbish them also, and it gives them something to take care of and give passion to them. So without passion, people, will not make it out in the world. So it also helps them relinquish their skills and abilities, and they fill out a report every week for us.
This is Yoda, and Yoda is what you call a Skye Poo. He is a Skye Terrier Poodle mix. He will be going into the prison program for his 10 weeks of training, and at present time, he's already been adopted. He already has a home when he comes out.
I wanted to get involved with the dog training program because of the good it does for the dogs, the saving of the dogs' lives, being able to provide a service for the community while I'm still incarcerated.
Originally, I was at another facility and I heard about the dog training program. I really love any opportunity I get to give back something to the community, and so I thought it'd be a great experience. So I asked for a transfer here, and the rest is history.
I wanted to get involved in the program because I love dogs and I seen them on the yard, and I said, first opportunity to present itself, I jumped in.
I like training the dogs and learning about dogs' behavior, and it brings a degree of normalcy to my life because I grew up with dogs.
The program has meant a lot to me. It's given me a chance to, build a little responsibility, a little more responsibility while I'm incarcerated, and it teaches me a lot and also teaches the dog a lot. It's meant the world to me.
Give me a sense of direction, and I just love it.
This program has been, I can't really put it into words, but I guess if I had to say, it's meant me doing a positive thing. It also means improving the quality of life for the dog, and also putting smiles on the adopter's face and warming their hearts, somebody that I'll never see.
Some favorite stories and experiences would have to be with Quinn. He's a blind dog that came in, and he was here when I got into the program, and I just couldn't believe that a blind dog could learn as much as he's done.
He's often asked to perform his commands, his many commands, in front of visitors to the facility and to the program. During one such visit, the actual director of the Michigan Department of Corrections got to witness Quinn perform his commands, and Director Hines, after he left, he was so impressed with our program and with Quinn in particular that he approved of another dog program to be started up at the Lakeland Correctional Facility.
That's a wonderful opportunity that I've been given while being incarcerated. It's an amazing opportunity. I plan on continuing for as long as I can.
I'd like to continue till I parole.
I've discovered over this amount of time that I've needed him far more than he's ever needed me. And fortunately, I was recently informed that I earned a parole, and my family and I talked about it, and we immediately contacted RPSM and asked that Quinn be adopted to us when I leave. And the good and caring people at RPSM agreed, and Quinn and I will be going home together very soon.
My favorite part has to be graduation. Seeing these dogs come out of their shells, helping them out with all their issues that they've had and seeing how they've progressed through the program, all the neat little tricks that they've learned and all the commands that they've learned, and it's just really wonderful.
When they come in, you see them, and then when they leave, it's such a beautiful thing.
For me personally, it's getting a copy of a litter bag from an adopter that they sent to RPSM to give them an update on a dog that they've adopted. And it's reading that letter and hearing about how happy these people are and how well the dog is doing. And that actually provides the most fulfillment to me as a person.
I give thanks to God for this program, the MDOC for allowing this program to exist. I also give thanks to the people behind the scenes that we don't even know about, people that clean out the dog kennels, that sweep up, that screw light bulbs in. I mean, I give thanks to you guys for allowing it to exist the way it does.
I would like to thank everybody at RPSM, the Michigan Humane Society, and certainly at the Lakeland Correctional Facility for allowing this program to go forward and to allow us to participate in such a wonderful program.
It teaches me a lot and also teaches the dog a lot through the training of the dog, and get the satisfaction of seeing the dog graduate at the end of it, preparing the dog for reintroduction into society, along with the program helping me to be reintroduced into society.
It's helped me to realize that it's just more than me. You know, I'm able to reach outside myself. I'm able to step outside myself, and helps this dog that's going to make someone happy. It's a beautiful thing. It's hard for me to put that into words.
The dogs that are being adopted today, they'll be beginning their new lives, and also then they came out, it opens up a spot for another dog, so we do that exchange the same day, and it's good for the handlers too, because yes, they're losing a dog they bonded with, but they're also getting a new dog that same day. One of the dogs that's being adopted today is Indy. He came to us from MHS, and he's the Basset mix, very cute dog.
We got a dog right now that's about 9 years old, that's losing its eyesight, so we found out that something need a second dog, and we kind of left the leader dog, and that's why the trained dogs look good. So I wanted another Labrador, and she wanted a smaller dog. So
we plan to continue to use the same commands, and since it's like 10-week program and it's a good start, so we plan to continue with that.
We've driven about 2.5 hours to get here. If you look at Twix here, she's I can tell already she's very loving and very well mannered.
All the dogs come out with a departure letter written by their handlers to the family, and they also have all the commands, how to do them, and how they're trained. Both verbal and hand signals are used. We try to adopt them out as soon as they come out. It's a lot less stressful for them. So we try to get them into their new homes that very same day.
Diana and I are very thankful to our two trainers for bringing Twix to us in this manner.
we just want to thank the inmates that spent the time and trained him to get him set to come home with us. And appreciate all their efforts and dedication. I hope they enjoyed it too.
Thank you so much, guys.
So this is Quinn, and what's special about him is really nothing. I mean, he's blind. He's a Walker Coon Hound, so he's probably not the first breed of dog that people typically look for when they're looking for a dog to bring home to their children or their husbands and wives. And one of the reasons is he's very vocal and very food driven. So you can't leave anything on the counter. You can't leave the trash can open, and you can't leave the pantry door open, or else he will definitely eat out of house and home. And But that's also what I used against him during his training. And I'm glad we didn't eat lunch before I watched that video. I couldn't. I just had regrets over that and we would have never seen it so on TV or on video. But he's an awesome dog. He's one of 14 that go into the program every 10 weeks for training. During the training session, they're taught their basic commands. And if the inmates have time after their basic commands are thoroughly known, if the inmates have time, then they teach them some tricks or some other special things. And Quinn happens to know 20 commands, and he was completely blind. Our Refurbished Pets of Southern Michigan was contacted. It was the last phone call that the animal shelter was going to make on Quinn's behalf. They were going to put him down into the kill shelter. And in a last-ditch effort, one of the gals at the shelter contacted RPSM and asked if we would take Quinn. At the time, I was a special needs handler at the Lakeland Correctional Facility. I was serving a 37 to 60-year sentence for possession of a controlled substance with intent to deliver. And I went to prison when I was 24. And a lot of you may not know this, but our President Ronald Reagan at the time had a war on drugs. And so in our country, we had some of the toughest drug laws. I ended up only having to serve, I would have served the entire 37 years. I ended up getting out of prison on technicality after 24 years. So I was very fortunate, and I just couldn't leave Quinn behind. So I brought him with me, and I hope he works for you today. He knows 20 commands, and I'm telling you, he's like a soldier, but this is a new area, and he looked pretty tired a few minutes ago. So we'll give it a try. What, are you ready to work? Huh? Are you ready to work? Yes, that's a good boy. Let's work. Let's work, buddy. Here you go. Here you go. Okay, so the first, it was actually quite easy to train Quinn because he's so motivated. And the prisoners were taught what they call a marker system, is what we use to train the dogs with. And what that marker system is that we teach a dog a word, and we reward him every time he hears that word. And this becomes like a snapshot. It's like a Polaroid picture. So in his mind, he's thinking, what did I hear when I received that reward? Well, in his case, it's yes. So you can see his response. Every time he hears the words yes, that means he's done something exactly what I wanted him to do. And it's also used as a release. It's also trained later on to release him from a position. So if I ask Quinn to do a command, and he does the command, and I'm ready to release him at that time, then I'll give him that marker, which is the yes word. So with Quinn, it was pretty easy to train because he's highly motivated, but he's also very stubborn, and he's blind. So he can't take a lot of visual cues that other dogs are able to pick up on. And you saw in the video, the dogs are taught all their basic commands with verbal and with hand signals. So with Quinn, we were able to use hand signals, obviously, because he was blind. But so I had to come up with some other ideas, and the guys are just very ingenious. I mean, this program is so good for them guys. It forces them to use their brains to come up with ideas and new and fresh ways to approach each dog, because each dog is completely different, and they train differently. So let me give you a little demonstration. So with Quinn, when I needed him to come to my front, I taught Quinn to respond to a verbal noise that I made, and he would know exactly where my front is. Quinn, come on, let's work. You ready to work? Yes, good boy. Quinn, front. That's another thing. You kind of need a protection. The dog, what you'd like is the dog to come up to your front and then take a step back to be, so he can perform his commands without the trainer having to step back yourself. So Quinn likes to come up to me and gives you a little tap, find out where you're at, and he'll take a step back. Okay, Quinn, finish. What's it? Quinn, heel close. Heel close. Close. Hey, close. Hey, he's listening for his bell. Good boy, heel close. Stop. Sit. Down. Sit. Good. No, sit. Sit. Okay, sit. Good boy. Good. Stand. Yes, good boy. It's going a little rough. Can you hide your face? Good boy. That's a good coon dog face. Hide your face. What's coon dog say? That's a good coon dog right there. Can you bow? Oh, he's good at you. Bow. Good. Front. Good boy. Beg. Good. Yes, that's my boy. Can I get a man kiss? Oh, man kiss. Okay. I taught Quinn to man kiss because that isn't really right. Like he's got a coon dog tongue. Made me feel uncomfortable at times. So, Quinn also knows how to shake with verbal commands. His right and his left. Now, his right is, of course, it's my right that counts. So, his right is actually his left. But shake right. No, sit. Come on, sit. Good boy. Shake right. Hey. Come on, sit. Okay, come on. He wants to do some tricks. Sit. Good. Good. Put him up. No, quiet. Put him up. Quiet. Pow! Cement. He prefers carpet. Next time maybe you can show up and have some carpeted area here. Okay, Quinn. Sit. Sit. Good. Shake right. Quiet. Shake right. Good. Shake right. Good. Shake left. Yes, that's good. That's how you do that, right? That's right. What's that coon dog say? That's a good boy. Wait. Wait. Now, with Quinn being blind, I wanted to make sure that his owners had commands to protect him from his blindness. Come here. Wait. Wait. No. Wait. Good. Come. Stop. Come. Stop. Back up. Back up. Back up. Come. Stop. Yes. Good boy. And he's really good. Quinn, find your place. I don't know if he might have to stray. Hanging around down by the couch over there. All right, find your place. Quinn. Nope, find your place. Where's it at? You might have forgot.
It's a blind dog.
Find your place. Find it. Good. Find it. Find your place. He really is blind. Quinn. Hey, Quinn. Come on. Find your place. Yes, go. Okay, down. Down. Good boy. Yes, come on. Is there anything else? He knows so many, I forget most of them. Most of his commands, though, we run with Quinn. I used to run, I had a foot injury, but I used to run with him 5 miles every other day or 3 times a week. And the bell is so that he knows his heel position during the run. For anybody that runs, the last thing you want is a dog that, stumbles into your path and he'll take you out. But he's an awesome runner. I mean, he just does wonderful, and he listens for the bell, and the bell is used for him to know his heel position, and you can give him commands to back up or to speed up, and he'll slow down if he's up ahead of you and listening for the bell and keep right on pace. But I really want to thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone in the audience has. Yes, go for it. Free.
Does anybody have any questions for Martin?
Wait.
Yes, and please go to the microphone. Thanks, sir. Question? Oh, yes, you do.
Can you hear me over there?
Okay.
So it's more of a personal question. I would think the welfare of the dog was pretty sufficient here. You obviously look to have a pretty good life, just as an observation as well. But for you, personally speaking, can you tell us what you think meant for your welfare as a prisoner after the opportunity?
It's very difficult to put it into words. You've heard 3 people along with myself try to describe what this program has done for them. I was sent to prison and I was a menace to society. I was involved with sale and distribution of cocaine, and it destroyed my lives. It destroyed lives around me. It destroyed my family. So I was sent to prison. I came from a very small town, and there's no, during this time of the war on drugs, there was no plea bargaining. We were all mandatory sentences. So there was no discretion in the judges. It could have been your first offense. It could have been your 50th. And so I was 37 years is what I was serving, and there was no good time, no day off for this or early release. I had no hope of coming home after 24 years. When I heard about the dog program, I asked for a transfer to be there. I was, in prison. There's a lot of things that are very difficult to stay away from. The gambling and the drugs are very rampant, and so for somebody that's trying to do the right thing and trying to stay on course, it's very difficult. So I saw the dog program as a way to put some of my energy that I used in smuggling contraband into the facilities and some of the, these types of things. I just redirected my behavior and redirected my attention. And unfortunately, I was one of the lucky ones that got into the dog program. And the way I kept the job, when, every day there's a problem. There'd be a fight on the yard, somebody could steal your shoes. Every day there's something going on that you can easily become involved in. Well, the prisoners are very finely inspected. Their files are gone over. Pedophiles are not allowed into the program. Not just pedophiles, I'm sorry. Sex offenders of any kind are not allowed into the program. And so, for me, I was blessed to have gotten into the program and gotten the opportunity. And secondly, every day when I woke up, I knew there had to be somebody there for that dog. And it was going to be me or somebody else. And so I just used that knowledge to keep doing the right things. And I was very fortunate because my time in the dog program, I used to clean up my record, and I wasn't such a problem anymore. And I didn't have any more fights, and I didn't have any more major misconducts. If you get major misconduct, you're out of the dog program. So it gave me a lot of incentive, and it really taught me to that I am in control of my own destiny. As a 24-year-old, I never felt like I had a plan in life, and now I do. And I've been going to school, and I'm an electrician now, and life has never been so good.
Any questions for Mark?
So I had a question. You started to touch on this, but what are the criteria for someone to get into the program other than the things you just mentioned?
Well, after coming back to society, I've heard a lot, and even before I came back to society, but I've heard a lot on both sides that, why should we give prisoners dogs? They're there for a reason, they're there for punishment, and they're not to be, coddled, and I totally agree with those things, being out here. But I also think that this is a win-win situation because we're taking dogs that people are throwing away, and we've got inmates that society has thrown away. And if there's a way that we can combine the two and get something, make it a positive experience for both sides, I think that we should continue to take advantage of it. And the department does weed through the people, the good and the bad, And it's just like giving somebody a job, as an employer. You are going to find out there's people with good work ethics and people with poor work ethics. So they can make mistakes and they'll put somebody in the program that probably doesn't deserve it. But it's all about time, and people show their true colors. And so those people are weeded out, and the good people are kept in, and those are the people that are strong, and they keep the dog program going. So a lot of the criteria is that you cannot be a sex offender at any point. You cannot be have any animal cruelty charges or child neglect charges. So anything sexually or endangering the life of a child or neglect of a pet or abuse, those were not tolerated. Those people were not even allowed into the program for consideration. Once you're in the program, another criteria is that you have to be 1 year ticket free, meaning that you can't have any major infractions, fighting, being out of place, those types of things. And after you're in the program, you're expected to do all the things that they ask of you, maintain the dog's health. You're never allowed to touch the dog in any way that's physically harmful to the dog, of course. And anybody that violates any of those rules is immediately released from the program. And I was part of the program for the last maybe 6 years that I was incarcerated. Anyway.
While you were training in the prison, do you think you learned enough skills to be able to bring that outside of the prison? Were you able to do any training professionally outside?
I have done some training for hire, and I've done a lot of training for free. Unfortunately, I went to Higgins Lake. My family is from Higgins Lake, which is up by Houghton Lake, and so I went back to the Higgins Lake area, and unfortunately, there weren't a lot of people spending money on their dogs. But
location does matter.
Yeah. I have been offered several training gigs, and I found that my electrical money is a little bit more steady.
Being a dog trainer is hard, yes.
Yeah, being a dog trainer is hard, and for those people that make it, I commend them. I envy them terribly because my heart, that's all I want to do.
Just wondering if that's somewhere that the program could go to be able to give these people a working skill to use.
You're absolutely right. When I was in the program, the reason I was a special needs trainer, they only had one and possibly one other person besides me, one other person that would handle special needs dogs, like Quinn. I've trained them blind, deaf, just about any dog you wanted, I've trained. But the reason they had special needs trainers was because those people had taken an interest in the dogs far more than training. A lot of dog behavior is responsible
for some of the things that we don't like about dogs, some of the bad habits. And so, for me, I mixed what I read and what I saw on TV and what I read in books about behavior, along with the training that I was taught that I could use. And the lady who was our president at the time, Cathy, she saw that I had, exceeded the expectations that were placed on me, and that it was really about changing behavior and changing and training. And so she gave me an opportunity that nobody else had. She gave me problem dogs, and that's what I always want to do. But you hear guys every day say, man, I hope I can get out and be like Caesar, or get out and do some training. And I do know some people, Michael, a buddy of mine that was in the program, he came out when he was a trainer at Petco for a while, wasn't it? And so they do come out, and it is a job skill. You don't get much job, you don't get many job skills. Well, actually, it was a pretty quick learn how to see your pants type training. But Refurbished Pets in Southern Michigan, we do have a trainer on staff, and that trainer does come in probably about once a month or as needed if the guys need, have some questions or something. What they do is they write those questions down and give them to their counselor. Those questions are then emailed to someone, our trainer, who.
Initially, just start out with a dog. Take one good dog, now you're going to get the same time.
Yes, but I was also put with an experienced handler. So new hires do come into the program, and those guys are teamed up with an experienced. There's 2 trainers per dog, and believe it or not, the rooms, it's not your typical room, or it's not a cell like you might be accustomed to seeing on TV. It's an open dormitory setting, and they have what we refer to as horse stalls. And their horse stalls are about 4.5 foot wide, and they have a 4-foot wall on them. And inside that horse stall, you have a baby gate out front so your dog doesn't get out. The dog's bed is in the back corner, your bed's here, and your TV, and you might have a locker or something. And so the dog is in that horse stall with you 24 hours a day. Your partner also has the dog, and so they rotate usually. I'll have the dog today, you'll have the dog tomorrow, but you can both work together with the dog at any time. But you're always teamed up with an experienced handler. And the very first thing you're required to do is watch training videos that RPSM provides for them. And then that same inmate will go to a training session. Probably about once a month, the trainer will show up there to go over any questions they have regarding on the videos. And this marker training is unbelievable. It's a lot. It's basically clicker training, except that we use words instead of a clicker. And it's a remarkable and very humane way to train. And I've never been a real food reward type trainer, so I've had to do that. I've always, wanted to be I started out training greyhounds, and you put them in the position, boom, and so learning to train using the marker system has been very rewarding because now I can use food to manipulate him, and I don't. He'll go up and he'll go through all of his commands without a single treat. He goes and on the assumption that eventually I'm going to get something. I'm going to do it this time. I might not get a treat, but I'm going to do it because eventually I know that guy's going to give me a reward. So.
Another question up there somewhere? Okay. Louder.
My question is in the process of very long screening to get progress, whether he has special needs, it is quite
Yes. Our requirement, our criteria is that the dog should not bite under any circumstance. So we have a sheet of paper that all of the fosters are familiar with,
And when we go to a shelter to pick up a dog, we look for certain things. We send them through a temperament test, what we have, and so we'll touch the dogs and we'll try to startle them a little bit and see how they respond. But the last thing we want is the liability of a trainer or a future family to be put at risk by a dog that is uncertain. Because an uncertain dog, a dog that is uncertain and fearful will bite quicker than an aggressive dog. So we do have requirements, we do temperament tests the dogs, and some of the dogs that do not meet the temperament test, we will put up on our site as adoptable, but not having gone through the program, just as a courtesy post. Our big concern is that we don't ever want to place a dog that has that we're uncertain about. That might be a liability, and we won't do that.
Okay, I think we're out of time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're